Hello, welcome to the new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Gliscor. Gliscor got a new attack in Sand Attack, giving it a better fast move, which is definitely well needed after Wing Attack got nerfed, I think like 2 seasons ago at this point. And yeah, today we're going to take a look at Gliscor. This Pokemon definitely is going to be an interesting one. Gligar doesn't get Sand Attack, which is definitely for the better, I think, because the amount of bulk this Pokemon has would make it a bit too strong again. But yeah, Gliscor here is going to have access to this move, and we're going to see if this is going to be worth it or not. And I can tell you already, this move definitely going to improve this Pokemon quite a bit. Also, we're going to see a very interesting team. We see a Blast from the past in terms of Registeel in the back, which honestly, as one of the most underrated Pokemon in the current meta. You will see it here in today's video as well. This Pokemon was lovely. This Pokemon had so much play. The bulk of this Pokemon is insane. And sometimes you're even gonna get the debuff with a Zap Cannon, but it's quite rare nowadays as I think the chance is now 33% or something. It is definitely not that high anymore. So yeah, here we're gonna see the attack drop from us. Actually, I'm going to check real quick on the side on how high it is currently. I thought it was like 33%. I think it was like expected to be 50%, and then the anti nerfed even further. It is 33% chance to drop the attack with a Zap Cannon. But as you're gonna see here as well, we're going to have the Toxic Packs against us, and we see already here's a little bit of an awkward thing with our moveset. We are running the move Aerial Ace and Night Slash. In general speaking, I have to say, I think this is the best moveset on this Pokemon. And you might think that's a bit weird, like you're going to have no real hard damage from those charge moves, you only have like the softer damage with Night Slash not doing that much and Aerial Ace not doing that much. Why would you want to have this? Because I feel like Earthquake doesn't make sense. There are so many Pokemon currently that are weak to Earthquake, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times it is just better to have like spammy moves like Night Slash, and Night Slash is great coverage in the current meta. And yeah, here for example, against Gastron, you're right, I would one-shot them with one charge move there, but also against, for example, here the opponent's Typhlosion, I can play it a bit safer, and I can just go for the Night Slash, and I'm going to be able to get them kind of low with that. I can sub into my Dunsparce, do some super effective damage with my fast move, I can use a shield against the opponent here as well, it's going to be the Blast Burn, that's totally okay for me. As you will see as well, the opponent is going to, go for another charge move here as well, it's going to be the Blast Burn again, and this is going to allow us to go for the full farm down, giving us 2 drill runs while we are shield down, but I'm totally fine with this trade-off because now we're gonna have a drill run coming through against the opponent. And you know what's great about Registeel? The best scenario for Registeel is the zero shield scenario. The reason for this is you don't have fast move pressure, but you have a ton of charge move pressure, and if there are no shields in play, it is definitely going to be a great thing for the Registeel. As you're going to see here as well, we're going to be able to go for another charge move. This is going to force the opponent to, go down basically. In comes the Talonflame, and this is not ideal. How can we still win this one? That is going to be a very difficult one to still win. But we can go for the Aerial Ace here against the opponent. We can still reach a Night Slash as well and get the opponent a little bit lower. And for example here, the Night Slash is the only move that I would have been able to reach there. An Aerial Ace would have not been enough. And so we get the opponent a little bit lower, forcing them maybe to go for a little bit of a interesting decision here, going for the Fly instead, of like trying to go for the full farm down. But as you can see, the full farm down would have not really helped them. Here's the issue for Talonflame. Talonflame is used to not having bulky Steel-type Pokemon against itself, basically, because Registeel is kind of gone, and that's also why Flame Charge is kind of gone, but Flame Charge might be a bit needed again, and as you can see, we're going to be able to win this battle quite easily. Horribleed for us next up. We're going to have Talonflame, but they're going to swap out into the Toxic Packs, and this is not as great as it seems. You might think, oh wow, this is going to be the best matchup ever. You're going to have basically, one of the Pokemon that is going to be weak to the super effective drill run here. But sadly, as you will see, it is not the case, and I make a mistake. I should have used a shield here. I should have used a shield. That is a very silly mistake to not shield up the Sludge Wave here. I did not respect the Sludge Wave. I thought it would do less damage, I have to admit. And as you're gonna see here, they're still gonna get to another move, which is gonna be a Brian. We have at 1 HP, but we need some kind of coverage against the opponent's Talonflame, because otherwise we're gonna struggle against this Pokemon. And as you will see here as well, the opponent is going to be able to go for a move. It's going to be the Fly. It does not knock me out, but it's not going to be really nice for me either. And I have to hope that we're going to get a debuff here. 33% chance, better than a Crunch debuff. And we are not going to get the debuff. And that is kind of awkward because now I make another huge mistake. I decide to use a shield here, but the opponent decides to not go for a shield, which you're gonna see here as well. And I decided to go for the Focus Blast, hoping I would get there in time. If I went for the Zap Cannon, the opponent would have gone down. But they have 2 moves anyway, so I guess it actually wasn't a mistake, because it was like a tight CMP tie here, which I feel like is okay for us. And we can go for Night Slash here against the opponent now, allowing us to get the KO or the shield, and then we can swap out, and they have the Azumarill in the back, and now we have no Pokemon anymore to deal with Azumarill, as our only hard answer, which is the the Registeel is already gone, and that's sadly going to be a loss here. Lovely matchup. We're going to have the Clodsire against us, and in comes the Feraligatr. We can just go for an Aerial Ace. What this does is we're going to either force a shield from the opponent or get them insanely low enough that we might be even able to fully farm them down with our Dunsparce. And yes, maybe we're going to have to use a shield down because we stayed in for that long. But we're going to accumulate a lot of damage against whatever wants to come in afterwards. Or I go for the Rock Slide, which then allows me to not even go for a shield, which might be even the better option. They decide to use a shield, then I can use a shield. I don't really care, as long as the Clodsire does not get aligned against the Registeel. That's really good for us. And honestly, this team is lovely. This team is also in my top team video, and this team is definitely something that I like, especially on how this team kind of works. Because you have 2 anti-flying type Pokemon in the back, which is important because you have ground type fast move damage from the lead there basically. You have a Saisop, which you always hear me say as well in my videos if I basically do team building. I always like when my Saisop has the same typing in one of the charge moves as my lead. And here, for example, we have a ground type lead Pokemon, and we're going to have a ground type hitting move there as well with the Drill Run on our Saisop, which of course comes in clutch against a lot of Pokemon. And then we're going to have in the back the Registeel, which handles Pokemon like Azumarill really well, other flying type Pokemon really well, and it's just an insane wall that helps out as well our lead, which is not as tanky, so we can use our shields on our lead to align ourselves. We have our Saisop, which is kind of bulky, but also our Saisop is going to be able to bait out potential fighting type Pokemon, and so this team is just great. I like this team so much. Here the opponent's Galarian Moltres definitely does not like this team, as you're going to be able to knock them out with one Zap Cannon, and so Registeel is back for sure. A Clodsire is definitely not going to be a big issue here for us either. And I could even just go for the shield and fully farm them down, but they decided to go for the bait here with the Sludge Bomb. Don't think this really worked out for them, and we can go for the full lock on down here. But there are also some issues with this team. One issue is Malamar. Malamar is going to have the better fast move. I think Malamar just has, the same fast move, but does 1 more damage per usage, which is significant for a 1-turn fast move usually. But if you compare Sand Attack, which I'm going to do in this side, Sand Attack is 2 damage for energy, while the Psywave is 3 damage for energy. And that is definitely a big difference, and that makes the lead matchup a little bit awkward. We get to the Area Ace at the same time as they go for the Superpower, but at least we're going to be able to outspeed them. But if we don't have our lead as well, we have issues against maybe something like the Diggersby. And here is basically the perfect example of a team that gives this team issues. And of course, there's not a single team in Pokemon Go PvP that has no counter at all, where there's no counterplay to the Pokemon, because it's the nature of Pokemon. There's always going to be a hard counter to another Pokemon. There is never anything else. It's always going to be the case that there's going to be something that completely destroys a certain Pokemon, and that is fine. That is how it's supposed to be. And so this is going to be kind of our nemesis matchup. We cannot sub out of the lead because we have a fighting type weakness with our backline. We cannot really do anything here with the Saisop that we had there as well with the Diggersby, as we are only going to really rely on our lead as well as our Pokemon in the back here. And so it can be just a bit tough. A Superpower coming through here, which is great, but now we have a CMP tie. And so this battle is just not really going our way, which is okay. This stuff happens. This is something that I like to showcase on my videos as well. There are going to be matchups that you just straight up cannot win, and that is totally okay. Here we're gonna see in the back the Bibarel. Cool team, but we can now move on to the next opponent. Next opponent coming through, Germnaa in the lead. I think they just wanted to, I don't know what they wanted to do here, but we can go for the next one. Again, I'm going to put every single battle all the time now into my videos as well. We're going to have the Toxapex coming in here, we're going to have the Azumarill against us next, and this is why people just disrespect Registeel so much. Nobody expects Registeel anymore, means Azumarill is just so free for a lot of people to say so. It is not. It is just not safe. It is literally one of the least safe Pokemon here to run in a meta where Registeel still has so much play, but people just completely forgot to use this Pokemon. Actually, I want to see, because now the PvP Poke rankings are out, where Registeel is actually on the rankings, because I haven't seen it anywhere high up at all anymore. But I actually haven't really seen it at all. Let me see. Registeel is ranked 36 on the meta, and I still think it's going to be one of the best Pokemon to run in the Open Great League right now. As you will see as well, against Toxapex, we have a great matchup. And yes, it's not going to be the best Pokemon in the one shield, and most likely also not two shield scenario. It's actually a pretty bad Pokemon, but as soon as you're going to get it in the closing position, which we have it in here as well, it wins 23 matchups and 13 losses only in the zero shield scenario for Registeel. Registeel is such an underrated Pokemon in the current meta, which is funny because it was a meta Pokemon before. By the way, look at this. Great lag, isn't it? Like, the opponent gets like 3 fast moves in here against us, and I'm a bit worried because you see here again, there's more lag, the opponent gets more 3 fast moves in as well. It is definitely a bit tricky now with all of the lag, because we had actually such a good advantage, but here the lag is really making it difficult for us to still win, and as you can see as well, it's not really looking great. I try to catch a move here, which is, if you ever played with the lag, basically impossible. But the good thing is that the opponent does not have the Shadow Jump Love. If they had Shadow Jump Love, this battle would have been a different one, because then Acrobatics would have 2-shot our Dunsparce, but it doesn't. And so, well, they're gonna try to catch that move here on the Toxapex, which works out for them. There's not really anything that I can fear here, because they're still forced to go for an Acrobatics, and they're still not going to be able to knock me out here, and so they're forced to go for another charge move then. And then the Energy Draw, and I can go for the Aerial Ace, and so, yeah, that's going to be a good game here, and we can move on to the next opponent. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have Annihilate against our Gliscor in the lead. We have to be a bit mindful here, but please, people, Azumarill is not a safe swap anymore. We're going to have the perfect answer here with the Registeel. Like, the combination of Registeel and Gliscor is just perfect. Like, if you think about it, Registeel being weak to ground and Flying type moves both are going to be resisted by the Gliscor, while also Flying type Pokemon getting hit hard by the Aerial Ace as well. So it's basically perfect there. Of course, you have also the fire weakness here on the Registeel, which again, you're going to have super effective damage with the Ascent attack, which is really important. So this team is just great to be run here as well. As you can see, we just decided to go for the Focus Blast. Reason for this is because we can now go for the lock on down instead of just having no energy. The opponent doesn't do a lot of damage anyway. We have now 100 energy to go into the next matchup, and this is going to allow us to go for a big hitting move here as well against the opponent's Annihilate, and we're gonna get them insanely low with that. And so we can go back into our Gliscor, we can go for a Night Slash, and we force them to go for a shield here very likely. And if they use a shield, I can just retaliate as well and use my own shield against them. I don't really care too much about it. We just play it safe. If it's Nice Punch, it's Nice Punch. It's Nice Punch, and so we decide to use a shield here very, very wisely. We have the Bibarel coming in next against us, and we can go for an Aerial Ace to just weaken them up, to put them into range where I can go for one Drill Run and knock them out, and this is exactly the range they're in right now. There you go for the Hyper Fang. It is not going to be even enough to two-shot us, and here is basically where I feel like Return would be a great charge move to have on Bibarel. Foreshadowing maybe a different video that's going to be out tomorrow or something. But yeah, I still haven't done my Bibarel gameplay, but I built a Return variant of it. So if you want to see Return Bibarel, leave a like on this video. Would really appreciate it. If we had 500 likes, I'm going to do some Bibarel gameplay. You know what's also worth 500 likes? Miltank, I would say, because Miltank is a very spicy Pokemon that has access to the move Ice Beam, and I don't like Ice Beam. I don't like it because it is doing quite a lot of damage against Gliscor. And so we have to be very mindful here on how to play this matchup, as we had a very bad lead matchup. I kind of have to also now consider that we have a very bad safe swap here against us, which is going to be the Annihilate, which is the hardest answer to Dunsparce. It is not looking good for us. I can tell you it is not looking good for us. Rachel is coming through. They're gonna farm us down, and now it's down to our Gliscor. And what can I really do here now? I decide to use a shield, and I make a huge mistake next. I should just, never mind. I actually go for the Night Slash here as well, which is going to be fine. And the opponent decides to use a shield here. I completely forgot about this fact here as well, so that makes more sense, because what I expect now is happening, that I can go for the swap out here, and I can catch the move. And that was risky, and that was very, very risky, but a lot of fun, because now the Miltank all of a sudden has nothing to be doing against the Registeel. I should overfarm here as well. I hope I do overfarm, I'm not too sure about it. I should just go, okay, yeah, they go for another charge move. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. The Annihilate has no play against us. We have some extra energy stored now. Show went for a little bit extra fast moves here as well. I think I could have done like 2 more or something. Yeah, Annihilate comes back in. I can go for the full farm down here. We have energy on our Registeel. In comes the Mandibuzz. And like, they're still going to be forced to go for a charge move here. Snarl is not going to do it. Snarl is not going to be able to farm us down. As you guys see here, Aerial Ace is going to come through. We're going to be able to go for another Aerial Ace afterwards as well. This is going to now allow us to do so much damage. They're guaranteed now on range for a Zap Cannon, and as they decide to use a shield, charge move here, they're gonna be energy dry in terms of like they have like 55, no, I think it's actually 60 energy that they have left. Now it's only 10 energy left, and we can go for a quite easy Zap Cannon to knock them out, win the battle, and we can move on to the final battle of today's video. Again, also, if you want to send in your own gameplay, there's always going to be a link down in the description. I'm really looking for some gameplay, especially towards, for Christmas later on, because I'm going to be away for a week there. I would really like to see some nice showcases there as well. I want to do some unique content as well during that time, so don't fear that either. But yeah, definitely would appreciate it if you could send in some very cool battles. Anyway, we're going to have Starmie here against us. And here is also why maybe Night Slash is kinda good. And also, the opponent goes into Diggersby here, and you might think, oh, that's gonna be such a bad matchup, why do you go into your Steel-type Pokemon here against a Ground-type Pokemon? Because while a Steel-type Pokemon is more like a Fighting-type Pokemon with the Focus Blast. Focus Blast is going to now connect, gonna do a ton of damage, and this is enough damage. I don't need more, I am happy with that, I can go for... Oh wait, what are they doing? I don't think they know it themselves what they're doing here, because now we have the Typhlosion. And here's one funny thing about this final battle. At this point of time, I just gonna sacrifice this Pokemon. I can go ahead and go into my Dunsparce, I guess. And at this point I had to give my phone to my girlfriend because the doorbell rang. And so I also have not seen what is happening next. And this is not my gameplay, but we're gonna be very interested on what's going to happen next. We should let the move go through. That's actually a great play here. Go for a Drill Run. Drill Run is better than Rock Slide. Like way better than Rock Slide. It did actually matter. No. I think if Drill Run would have knocked it out, I think we would have actually had a chance of winning this battle. Because we would have got the shield here. And I have to see on how much energy is still on that Registeel. Can we still get to another move there? We would still have the shield here left. We would have been able to get to the win here. This would have been a win if maybe we would have played out ourselves. But yeah, definitely would have won this battle. It is fine, it is fine. Again, I had to get some posts in, so this is what it is. Thanks so much for my girlfriend to finish this battle here. Yeah, this continued for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.